Hi everybody, I'm Josh.
I'm Anna.
We are Geek on Review, and this is Dissecting the Dead comic book edition. We just finished reading issue 138 of the Walking Dead comic. I'm going to say right now, if you're only watching the show and you're not reading the comics, stop the video right now. You'll ruin our audience retention, but it's totally fine. Also, if you haven't read this issue of the comic yet, you might want to stop because we are going to spoil the living shit out of it for you. Okay, so issue 138, we pick up, and Jesus has just entered the picture, beating the holy hell out of Gregory after he tried to poison Maggie. We also find out that Maggie's not dead. He tried to poison her and completely botched it. Didn't give her a big enough dose. We don't know what he poisoned her with yet.
We don't know what he gave her or what he did. We don't even really know that she's fine. She's fine for now, but there's a lot of poisons out there. Maybe he gave her something and it takes a while. She might be fine right now, but she might start having symptoms in the next issue. That's totally somewhere where they can go, but it doesn't really surprise me that he botched it. He's kind of terrible at existing.
He's a fuck up in general in basically everything he tries to do, which is really kind of funny.
Yeah, it's nice comedic relief.
The other thing, the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 issues, we haven't seen Rick at all.
No.
They've basically left the Alexandria safe zone completely alone the last several issues, and the story's focusing mostly on the Hilltop Colony with Maggie and Carl.
Carl in general, yeah. It's kind of shifted from Rick to Carl.
Yeah, as the primary protagonist of the story, which is really interesting because it takes place a few years after All Out War and the defeat of Negan, who's still in prison as far as we know.
Yeah.
And Carl's matured quite a bit. He's becoming, a very capable, strong young man, which is fun to see. Speaking of Carl, he's developed a bit of a love interest with Lydia, one of the Whisperers.
One day with her and he's smitten, but I imagine there's not a whole lot of girls his age, so it probably wouldn't take much to be smitten.
Let alone a girl who will lick his empty eye socket
and
think it's
so
totally
disturbing.
sexy.
That was so disturbing.
So, Lydia's group shows up kind of out of the blue after her and Carl have finished doing it. They want her back, obviously.
Yep. And they have 2 of the Hilltops group and they're gonna
who we thought were dead this whole time.
And they are offering up a trade because the leader of this Skinwalker people is Lydia's mother. So, obviously she wants her back. So
she goes by the name Alpha. They're kind
Alpha.
They kind of treat themselves like a wolf pack, not to be confused with the wolves from the show that we're probably going to see coming up. But they have this hierarchy, kind of like a large pack of wolves does, which is kind of an interesting dynamic, I think, in the comic. We also find out that Lydia has been sexually abused fairly regularly as part of this this group, who I think we've just all decided to call the Whisperers, because what they do is, if you're not familiar and you're still watching, what they do is they cut the faces off walkers and they wear the faces, and they basically wear walker skin and they migrate with the herd. So it's super creepy, but it's also kind of awesome.
It is kind of genius. It is one way to survive out in the wild without establishing a community and still be able to live and survive.
And be pretty safe.
Yeah.
Because the way it sounds like there are hundreds, if not thousands, of these Whisperers. Like, they've become their own herd.
Yeah.
And kind of incorporated the walkers into their herd rather than incorporating themselves into the walker herd. It seems really weird. I hope we get a little more insight into the Whisperers and their group dynamic.
Yeah. Going back to Lydia, what we find out is what she told Carl. I don't believe her. I think she's lying. in order to create conflict. I think this might be something that the group does. I mean, obviously not how it went about here. They lost people doing it this way. But it wouldn't surprise me if this is something they do, is send somebody in order to get supplies or
some intelligence.
Yeah, or whatnot. And I think Lydia is fully part of the group and was lying about everything that she told Carl.
It's completely plausible. I wouldn't be shocked at all to find out that Lydia's lying. I hope she's not, because as wacky as she is, I actually kind of like Lydia.
Yeah, she's kind of kooky, but yeah, I like her. She's interesting.
And as nutty as Alpha is, Lydia's mother Alpha, I kind of like Alpha as well. I think they are going to be the next major villain.
Yeah, I think
and
so too.
And we're going to see maybe All Out War 2.
Possibly with a Negan. He's still there.
I would not be surprised at all if they have to let Negan out to help fight the Whisperers.
Yeah.
That seems like, a desperation move, and they might get that desperate.
Yep.
All right. The issue ends with Carl he's left Hilltop. Without telling anybody, he is leaving to search for Lydia and rescue her, if, of course, she actually even needs it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's it for our review of Walking Dead number 138. We will see you Sunday night with our review of the next episode of the Walking Dead television show, Season 5, Episode 14, titled Spend. See you next time.